I did that little weirdness because my music from my intro is overlapping for some reason from DaVinci from Movie Maker. Movie Maker, I could push it, the title cards and would push it out for the sound, and they don't in DaVinci, so I have this overlap of a couple seconds. So I've started doing that. Maybe I'll just dance. Today is an okay day, so I could probably dance. My shoulder still always bothers me. Never not bothers me, but it's not as bad as it could be. A reminder, go check out Thunderpoo2 Gaming. He's an active follower in my Discord and everything, and he did a stream for Just Cause today. So if you can't catch it as a stream, go and catch it as a video and show him some love and support. Anyway, greetings all, Shardvixen here, and today is vlog 98, which means in 2 more weeks, 2 more vlogs, it'll be 100 vlogs, and that's a big deal. I didn't think I'd do vlogs that long. I mean, I planned for it, but I didn't think I would do it that long. Anyway, a reminder, December 11th, around noon, give or take, my daughter and I will be doing a live vlog in celebration for my 100th vlog. It's a Q&A, so you can ask questions. You can drop the questions in my Twitter and my Discord. You can drop it here underneath this. You can drop it on my Facebook, anywhere. If you go to my About page, it has all of those. So you can just drop a question. You can come and ask a question there too. Her and I, though, will be playing Cards Against Humanity to show the deeper, darker side of Shardvixen. Grammy has a deeper, darker side, which is Shardvixen. So maybe it's just the deeper, darker side of Grammy, who is Shardvixen. I don't always show my deeper, darker side because people don't like it. I have a hard enough time getting people like me, but it's even worse when I put my what I think is funny and silly. I always end up pissing somebody off. So did my hair. See, right side braid. Well, this would be top side braid, underside braid. I don't know that this is the right or the wrong, but this I braided under. This one I braided over. Anyway, so the vlog, Know Thyself, of course, is where I talk about how I've been influenced or how I felt or what made me do it and how I feel about it now, kind of thing. And today is the video game, and the video game I've chosen is Fallout, which happens to be in the news a lot. A lot of people are supposedly not liking it. I like it. I like Fallout 76. I kind of like Fallout 76 better than I liked Fallout 4, but there are things I like about Fallout 4 that make me not like things in Fallout 76. So, but I started out with, so in the 90s, I had this friend who played a lot of video games on the computer. I didn't own a computer, but I'd go over and hang out with him every once in a while, and I'd play the game with him. You know, him sitting there and watching me play and making a fool of myself and laughing at me. Or he'd play, and I'd sometimes do the same thing, like, what the hell do you think you're doing? But most of the time not, because he was a much better video game player than I was, especially on the computer. And so he introduced me to Fallout 2. And he said he had played Fallout 1, but he was a big Bethesda because of the Elder Scrolls. He was into Morrowind and Tamriel and all those as well. And so he was the one who kind of got me into trying Oblivion, which I didn't really like Oblivion, but we'll talk about that some other day. And then, of course, Skyrim, which I liked, but not, you know, as much as some of my other games I've played. Anyway, so I thought Fallout, what did I like about Fallout? Well, so what happened was I played that with him for a little while, and then, you know, he went on to other games, and I kind of didn't even think about it much. At the time, I think I didn't really have a video game player. There were periods of my life where I didn't have console. Might have computer, but I didn't have a console, and then other times I'd have console, but I didn't have a computer. It just was dependent on my money status and the time. And during that period of time, I didn't have a whole lot of time because I was going to school, I was working, I had my daughter, I had my son, and they're 13 years apart. So one was in high school, while one was in, you know, elementary, beginning kind of like schools. And so I didn't really have a lot of time for that kind of gameplay. I mean, I play little games on the computer and stuff. And of course, it didn't have any mobile games at that time, per se. Though all computer games could be considered a mobile game if you had it. But the laptops were kind of still big and chunky and whatever. I had a little small notebook is what I had. The precursor to the tablets. That's what I call them, the little Hewlett Packard like notebooks. They were like little 1 gigabyte of memory or whatever. And it was used for school. So I didn't really play a whole lot of games at that time. And then when I got my Xbox 360, I think it was a 360. Yeah, when I got the Xbox 360, because I had the other Xbox, I bought it from some guy. And then when it died, the red ring of death, I went and bought me a brand new Xbox 360, which I have replaced 3 times. One time I bought it, second time I bought it used, and the other time, this last time, somebody gave me one. And I had an external hard drive that I bought and all that stuff. Anyway, so, because if you're going to do gaming, you should do it seriously, I guess. I don't know. I'm not much of a serious gamer, so I wouldn't know, really. Anyway, so, of course, other games I played first, like Fable and Assassin's Creed, but I was in GameStop, and I had some money, and I wanted to play a game. Now, I didn't buy it new. I know this for a fact, because I very rarely buy games new. I did buy Fallout New Vegas new, but I didn't buy Fallout 3 new. It was, because I think Fallout New Vegas came out right about after I bought Fallout 3, so I know it wasn't new. I can't remember the actual date. So, So, it was Fallout 3 came in 2008. My son was 4 years old at that time, and I was part of a Renaissance Guild, so I was not playing video games at that time. But that guy that I knew, that's how I knew him, and he was playing video games at that time because he wasn't part of the Renaissance Guild. It's a very weird story. Anyway, yeah. So when his wife, who was part of the guild, would have parties, he would show me video games that he was playing. So that's how that worked out. But yeah, so I'm sure that I didn't really pick it up till, let's see, Fallout New Vegas came out in 2010. So I'm thinking I picked up Fallout 3 around 2009, 2010. And what was I doing in 2009 and 2010? Well, my son was going to kindergarten, so I was, working, going to school. My son was in kindergarten, first grade, not having a great time of it. We moved a lot that time period. And my daughter, of course, was graduating from high school. So there was many, many busy times. My daughter was a huge athlete, so she was in sports all 4 years. High school, she was in sports all through grade school. And so there was always that. If any of you have children or are in sports, you know the concept. It's all the time, someplace. But Fallout. So to get back to Fallout, because it's not a blog about that. It's a blog about Fallout. And my nose. So, I'm sorry, my back's bothering me sitting in this chair. So what did I like about Fallout? Why did I buy Fallout 3? Well, I like the idea that okay, so I like games that allow me to pick whether I'm going to be male or female. It doesn't mean that I won't play games where you're only a male or you're only a female. I have, but I like the character building that Fallout offered. So, and I like post-apocalyptic stories. Probably that's the most pulling of the whole thing. In Fallout 2, the idea of the story was more influential on me than the actual gameplay. I liked the story. I liked the idea of the story, and I liked the things they took from the world around them. And after I started playing Fallout 3, of course, and Fallout New Vegas, I started looking into the history of where they got stuff, and most of it was stuff that I was familiar with, that when I looked at it, I was like, oh yeah, I kind of could see that. Oh yeah, I already kind of thought that was the case. So an example of some of the way the world looked, Road Warrior, the boy and his dog, the robots. The robots were really like, oh, you know, that's from those 50 movies, you know. I didn't know which one until I looked it up, and it was The Forbidden Planet, of course, which is considered the geek of geeks. You know, you're a geek if you know that movie, which I've seen it, but that doesn't make me a geek, as I've been told many times. But, so, it was all things that you kind of loved and knew. Excuse me, as I pick my nose, I got a scratchy face again. It's all things that you kind of knew, and were very, when they blended them together, made a very post-apocalyptic, I get it today. The kids yuck. I'll get back to you when I can talk now. Ooh, it's one of those days. I got a crazy brain. Crazy brain means and I can't stop it. It happens. It's one of these, and the fibromyalgia goes with it. Okay, center. So, I like post-apocalyptic style stories. I write them myself. I have quite a few of them out there that I need to freshen up and get up on my Discord. I like the idea because there's a part of us, I think, for those of us who like that, who wants to go back to a simpler time. We want to go back to a time where we want to know if we could survive. Like, would we be able to survive in that type of world? So I think that's what the attraction for me and many of the people I've talked to. I'm not saying for everybody, because you can't make a generalization. Not everybody is that way. Not everybody is anyway. But for most of the people that I have chatted with, it's that idea that you could kind of rely on yourself and or those you were close with, and there would be that connection. People would have to rely on you. What did I like about Fallout 3? Well, I love the hairstyles. I mean, anything that would allow me to pick a female character and then do the hair in a punk style, because I'm a punk at heart, you know, that would be the thing for me right there. I'd be like, yeah, that's cool. That's awesome. It's one of the very first games that I played in which you could be either in the first person or the third person, that I remember, you know, and that you that I had to learn how to shoot like that, because, you know, in the past I play a lot of games where you're just playing the person, you know, you're not doing that. The only game I can think of at the time that I might have played a little bit of was Doom, and only because somebody else had it on the PlayStation at the time. But what does it say about me? Well, it says about me is I like to play by myself most of the time. When Fallout New Vegas was great, for me it seemed a little more, there was a lot to do in Fallout New Vegas. A lot of people don't like Fallout New Vegas. I liked Fallout New Vegas. Did I like it as much as Fallout 3? Probably. It was probably about the same. I mean, I think that they could have kept the storyline more continuous or together in some way. But they did. I like that game developers try something different. I personally like that. And even if I don't like what the end result was, when I go to play it or look at it, that's what I'm going to look at. I'm going to say, did they try something different? Did it work well? Maybe, maybe not. But still, they made that jump, so I'm going to support them. I liked Fallout 4 a little less than Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas. Probably because Fallout 4, they introduced a lot of new stuff. It's kind of the same thing for Revelations and Assassin's Creed. You had a certain way you were doing it, and then they added too much new stuff. And so on the third and fourth play of Fallout 4, I have done better because actually on the second playthrough, I did better because I kind of knew what I was doing then. Fallout 76 is the same way. I started the beta, and then I was like, oh, well, this is what you do. Or, oh, this is how you do it. Oh, yeah. So when the game actually came out, when I got my disc, I decided that I'd start it, you know, all over again. And so I've been running this one character so far, you know, for 25. Now, do I get into role-playing? I'm not a real role-playing kind of person, which is funny because I was a fool in a Renaissance guild, which is a total role-playing kind of thing. But because the role-playing part of my life is it's really me. It's not really a role play that I'm playing. I've done lots of role-playing. It's required. And when you go to get a psychology degree, you have to do role-playing, role-playing, and role-playing. You know, so it's not that I can't role play. It's just that's not my idea of immersion into a game. What I want is a game where I can step away from the reality and become somebody else. Not necessarily me. Not necessarily my choices. Not necessarily the way I would do it. Though I have found that for the most part, I do play the way that I would choose, because I just start to feel bad. Except for that part of me that's Shardvixen, who doesn't feel bad because she doesn't give a shit. But Grammy part kind of feels bad about that. So so Fallout, I really liked. I did, and I've met some women that liked Fallout, but for the most part, I have more male friends that like Fallout than female friends. I like the adventuring too, but it really pulls in me on the scavenger part. So being a somewhat almost hoarder type person who collects stuff for, you know, never throw it away because you're going to use it kind of thing. I have to go through my stuff all the time. It feeds to that part of me. So, you know, when you think about what it is about a video game that likes it, first of all, I get to roam the wasteland, saving the world. I get to interact with really nasty things and shoot them, which is always fun. I get to collect shit. I get to make shit. Though in Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, I didn't do much making. There wasn't really much crafting. I mean, you started getting in Fallout New Vegas, you could craft a little bit more. But then in Fallout 4, you did more crafting, and that was my first experience of crafting, and I wasn't sure if I really liked it. I mean, I made spells and stuff in other video games, and I made stuff in Assassin's Creed, but I wasn't sure if I liked and I'm still not sure if I like that extent that you have to go through. I've heard all the reasons why people don't like Fallout 76. I like Fallout 76. I enjoy it. That's all that matters to me, if I enjoy it. Does it have bugs? Yes. Does it have problems? Sure. All of them have problems. Shit, there's still problems in Fallout 4 as far as I'm concerned. Could I pinpoint what the problems were? I don't know. I mean, the glitches aside, okay, I'm used to games with glitches because I always find the funky ones, and then it's like, does anybody else have this problem? And people say no, and I'm like, okay, whatever. We'll just move right along there. I kind of don't like the building concept in it. But just because I'm a really lousy builder, it's not easy to understand. I keep making a different base every time. I know I can do the blueprint, I get it, but I just end up, somehow I lose my blueprints too. I'm not sure why. But I like the idea of playing it by myself. I can play it by myself, and I can play it with other people. I can play it with other people and still play by myself. So I like that. Excuse me. But I think it really talks about how I feel about in the world sometimes. That lone person roaming and everybody's gone. I kind of feel that way sometimes in my life because I don't have a good connection with people. I remember people that I used to have connection with, and I meet people that I get connections with, but a lot of times there's a devoid part of me that I call physical loneliness, and I think it comes from just my brain. I think it's just a mental health issue because lots of people have talked about this whole disconnection that they have. But I like Fallout 3 because who wouldn't want a pink dual mohawks? I mean, come on. And that's what my character ran the whole time in Fallout 3. You know, this big, huge fan mohawks. I thought that was pretty cool. But, alright. So that's it. I'm hoping I can't wait to see what they do for the next Fallout. I hope there is one. I would love to see them do an actual Brotherhood of Steel storyline that's kind of open world, historic, like you going up to Alaska or something and making a whole, or Washington, or some of these fan base ones, like the one in Seattle, and there's one in Florida. Some of those would be fun too, I think. But I like the game. And I think if you like the series, you'll like Fallout 76. If you liked Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 4, you're going to like Fallout 76. Yes, there'll be pieces and parts you don't like, but there's very few games in the world that I've played that you like everything about. If you can name some, please do so, because I'd like to check them out, so put them in my comment box. And do I probably already play them anyway. Anyway, that's it. I'm out of here. Remember, December 11th will be the Q&A. And you can leave your questions down below in the boxes on the comments. And I'm out of here. Catch you on the flip side.